program this morning. We're now joined virtually by Dr. Aliu Elias, who'd shed light on some of the issues making the rounds in the news this morning. Hello, Doctor. Good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Let's start with one of the first stories making the round, and it's the midterm assessment of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. We're about 8 days to go, if we're counting to include today. And it's talk about how the president would need to probably readjust his cabinet, with certain ministries reportedly performing low. Now, and it's not the first time in the president's administration we're seeing a cabinet rejig. Are there some ministries that come to mind once you hear the story that the president would receive a scorecard and might need to reappoint some new ministers in that regard?
Right. I was thinking that by now the KPI would have shown who is good, who is bad, who has performed well, and who has actually added more to what we expected. You recall that President started on a good note when he actually have an SA admin or so. These are checking as creating a scorecard for our ministers. So I think it's expected by now that there should be a rejig, because there has been a little rejig. You recall that some ministry were actually I recall that Minister of Industry was changed and another person was brought in. Minister of Sports was actually Sports. There is now Sports Commission, and now there is no direct minister for sports. So I think we have they have a little rejig. But this could also bring a particular scorecard. So I think my own is that they should declare the scorecard open and let's see who actually perform well and who did not perform well. It's always good to rejig, because when you rejig, it brings another firepower for new ministers, and those ones that are there before will know that they need to do more so that the government can actually retain them. On the scorecard of midterm assessment, how do we even assess those ministers? I think if to assess them, we have to do minister by minister, portfolio by portfolio, because some appear to be shining, while some may not shine, but they are doing the work, and that's why the best person to actually do that is the essay to president administration.
Now, talking about performance, usually the temptation is to focus on non-performing, but let's change the narrative this morning. Let's also move in the direction of commending performance and high-performing ministries or ministers appointed by President Tinubu. Off the top of your heart, who comes to mind as one of the best-performing ministers, or do you have a couple of names you'd like to pour encomiums on before we proceed?
Right. So if you ask me, I think the most shining minister, will I say performing now? Anyway, the combination of it will be Minister of FCT is doing well. However, we have some knock for him as well. You cannot be doing well in terms of infrastructure and other things, and your health sector is actually on strike. Your education sector is on strike. I think you need to do more, but overall, we score him more. Then we also go back to Minister of Works, because I saw him up and doing. I recall the Lagos problem, a lot of road he has been given attention to. So I will score him as well. I want to also score the Minister of Steel. Sorry, not Steel, right? Rather, Minister of Mining. I'm talking about Alake. He has been actually doing well in his part, and he's doing very fantastically well. We also see new minister that does come up, but he's making a good impact. That's Minister for Trade and investments. They're actually doing well. So a couple of them that we cannot readily mention, but most of them actually putting their effort. And I think the president also gets it right in terms of a check and balance, because you don't see those ministers doing the way they like. Then there's also this periodic scorecard, because I saw a lot of them coming up to say what they have done and what they are doing. Them are still on the process of saying we will do, like Minister for arts, culture, creative economy. We've seen her talking. We don't want much talk. We want something much more practical for to actually hold on to. So I think by and large, 2 years, they have actually tried their best, some of them, while some need to be given it's not really scored now. You need to tell them that they need to do more, I think. The Minister of Information is always coming out at the right time. He created a platform for people to actually say what they have actually done. So I think those are the ones I will mention for now.
Now let's talk about a ministry that's somewhat gone under the carpet. Talking about the humanitarian ministry following the suspension of the former minister, Dr. Betta Edu, and the appointment of Professor Nantiwe Yilwata. It almost seems as though there's not much news in the media about what's happening in the humanitarian ministry. It's off the worry that there's supposed to be conditional cash transfer and other programs under the national social safety net that's up until now has little or no mileage on. What do you make of the ministry and the performance of Professor Yilwada?
I recall in my thesis, my topic focused on NSIP, National National Social Investment Program, and actually focus on Empower, which fall under humanitarian. You see, that there's a serious gap in that ministry that it needs to be restructured. Perhaps that's the restructuring that is affecting the person that is there. Recall that you actually have a free flow of things. So I think recall that professor is new, and also the process has to be also restructured. Perhaps maybe they want to do more work than even more giving more talk. For now, I've not seen anything they have done, and even in terms of the aim of that ministry has not been achieved in this administration so far. So for me, that ministry is silent, and they have not done anything so far. So maybe it's because of restructuring. But for me, I think they should do more because of the role. Perhaps there's more poverty in Nigeria than ever before. This should be their time to shine. But we don't see them coming out to do anything at all.
Now, even away from poverty eradication, the ministry is also supposed to oversee disaster management, and overarchingly, they are the ones overseeing the activities of NEMA. We're back in the raining seasons. Rains are intensifying. Floods are coming up in certain parts of the country. Is this also an onus on the ministry to sit up, if not even in poverty eradication, but in its management and response to natural disaster?
Well, on that case, NEMA is doing their job, because I've seen some of their outings. Then you may not see the hand of the ministry in that one directly, because there's a particular agency started with that responsibility, and that agency actually have the ears of the president. A lot of things are there for them directly. So you may not use that area to judge. We may not use that area to judge them. However, we can judge them on their activities that they actually have statutorily. So on the statutory activities, we've not seen them being up and doing so far. And that's a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must look into. I'm sure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to finish well in his first term, and he has every reason to review every area he intends to review.
Now, let's go into one of the ministers you had mentioned as a performing minister in your earlier remarks, talking about the Works Minister, Engineer David Umahi, who, away from focusing on his appointed responsibilities, has also moved on to make a comment in a documentary which is in production that all Southeast governors, including those who are not of the APC extraction, are looking to organize a regional political summit in which they would endorse President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for second term. I don't know what you make of this proclamation by the minister in this regard.
I think that's a big distraction for Nigeria. I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his minister should focus on governance rather than delve into politics from now, because by the time they start delving into politics of 2027, they will be distracted and they'll be nothing. If you look at Abuja, everywhere is painted with, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that simply means it's to show that they're actually coming. We are not saying you should not come, but don't come rub it on our face at this level. We want much more of governance. They should tell us on what they have done and what they actually are going to do going forward, not saying that they are going to southeast and what have you. Well, for me, politics should not get to this level. We are delving into one-party state already, because from look of things, they all focus on making sure that no opposition actually exists. Remember, the flag bearer of the Labour Party is from the southeast too, and he got a lot of votes from that axis. So for me, they should focus on delivery, because it's what you deliver that will judge you on. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not become president as at 2023, so most people have confidence in him. Now he has come, we have what to judge him with. Like Obi will always say, it is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Nigerian masses.
Now, he's not the only one doing the praise singing. It's now more focused on especially PDP governors, and most notably the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Moeno, in his recent visit to the State House, in which he met with the Vice President, Senator Kashif Shettima, is also speaking glowingly about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But he comes from another angle, which over time we've seen successful administrations use the same rhetorics. He says the president should not be blamed for the current situation the country is in, that he is not the cause of the current economic fortunes. What do you make of Governor Eno's statement?
Well, that statement is, how do I put it? It's not a good statement for me, because in as much as you are becoming president of Nigeria, you are inheriting the good and the bad and the ugly. And you recall that it's President Buhari to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is still APC. So that apparently means that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is fully aware of what is going on and is in support of President Muhammadu Buhari. So it should inherit it. And thanks to God now that it's not from opposition they take over from, they would have been blaming it outrightly. Would they go back to blame opposition after 10 years of APC being in power? So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should do the needful and should focus on giving good governance, not on continuous campaigning that is actually distracting Nigeria as it were. Nigeria level of poverty is very high, is deepening at the more. They've not done anything different from what Buhari was doing, and we are still in poverty. So for me, I think they need to do more so as to make sure that we actually move from these challenges that we are. So for Governor Eno, I think for him, they need to focus on governance also more, not to go around and be mentioning this. We've heard from different quarters, but like I said, in the long run, it will not be Governor Eno that will vote, it will be the masses that will vote who they actually desire to vote for.
Now, it's also on the platform of talking about governors defecting, much like we've seen in Delta, where Governor Sheriff Oborowori has defected to the APC. Pastor Eno of Akwa Ibom is one of the governors that a lot of speculations are making the round might defect to the APC. He's been very much in touch with the APC government, owing to the fact that the Senate president, who is of the APC extraction, is also from his state. But it almost seems as though his position to politics is one that is non-partisan in his disposition. Do you see him joining the bandwagon, or you think he's going to remain in the PDP and still work for the APC?
I see him joining the APC simply because the influence of Senate President on him. I recall he was a commissioner before, I think, and he has been serving under, indirectly or directly under the Senate President. So for me, I think it's expected, but it's not even bad to move, but we should move with ideology. We should move, with a good and cogent reason. But as it is now, Nigeria has got to this level. I don't see him not defecting to APC.
Well, let's keep the conversation moving as we pick on another issue. It's back to PDP again. Much focus is on the People's Democratic Party, and it's with the certain disputes rocking the position of national scribe. This morning, we'll also be looking at a statement made by Senator Abba Moro, filed in our news files. 2027 PDP governors and senators are divided over the former VP Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's coalition plan. You'd recall last week he said that even APC members, PDP and LP are looking to join his coalition, and he was offering Mr. Peter Obi the vice presidential candidate tickets for this new coalition. What do you make of this news now that the party's position is divided over Atiku Abubakar's vision going into 2027?
Right. Clearly the party has been divided and they have different camps. We have Atiku camp, we have Damagun camp, we have the Wiki camp, and other camps. So surely it is divided. I listened to Abba Moro, Senator Abba Moro, and where he clearly said he contributed immensely for Atiku and is also willing to do more. So for me, it's not bad. And Atiku giving an offering to Peter Obi, it's open, it's politics. So you can actually whoever we think will be of support to you. So I think it's not a bad thing for him to say somebody should come on. And for him to say that people from other particular parties, especially APC, are encouraging it is normal. Definitely, we have people in. Remember, he's part of the founding father of APC too. He was part of APC too. So he can actually get a support base from anywhere. But the only thing is that we are going to see the repeat of what happened in 2023, whereby the Obi went for his own, then Atiku also went for his own. So it is expected, except there is a formidable coalition. And if you recall, I listened to we said it's in coalition with the masses, it's in coalition with hunger and what have you. So Atiku will go and strategize and think about what to do more. So the division is expected. And like some people from the south will always say, it is not northern time now. Atiku should not contest. It should wait for the northern time to contest.
Well, we'll take a listen to comments made by Senator Abba Moro for the privilege of those who probably did not catch it as at the time it was made and it was filed in our news coverage. And then we'll come back to get your thoughts on this threat from PDP's Southeast Caucus to exit the party if the national scribe position is not given to Ude Okoye. Let's take a listen to comments made earlier by Senator Abba Moro in regards to the Ishon ground.
Contrary to the insinuations that the PDP is in shreds and at the verge of collapse, the party remains very, very strong and will continue to work stronger. The Senate caucus of the PDP, therefore, urges all our team members to remain resolute in their commitment, dedication, and loyalty to the party. The caucus believes that a series of activities lined up by the leadership of the party will throw up a new lease of life and leadership in the party that will make it very competitive in future elections. Of all the opposition parties, the PDP's umbrella is big enough to accommodate all persons desirous of coalition. The People's Democratic Party, therefore, should drive the coalition when and if it becomes necessary.
So Ali, whilst the PDP, using Senator Abba Moro's words, is an umbrella big enough to accommodate a coalition, what do you make of the threat by the Southeast PDP caucus, who are threatening that if the national scribe position is not given to Mr. Ude Okoye, they would exit the party?
Right. I think the two scribe are from the east. Am I correct?
Yes, please.
So I don't know why this cannot be solved. You remember the Southeast have to actually get much more advanced in politics, because I recall even during the Obasanjo time, we have a lot of Senate presidents from the Southeast. We should be about 4 of them during that time. We have Mwabara, we have what's his name, Okadigbo, and a lot of them. So I think at this point in time, there's some things that even region can actually resolve it and present their position to the party. So I expect them to actually resolve it and resolve, because it's going to be a springboard for them to actually move again. So I think they should solve this internal, and that's why we are saying that for us to move in Nigeria, there must be internal democracy, even within the political party, and this exposes that there is no good internal democracy within the APC. You recall that APC is still struggling. I mean PDP, they are still struggling on the issue of even chairman, because Damagun is actually using the time of the middle, not central. Because after Ayu was, exit, after he exit, we should have people from that, and he also still hold to that position. So there is a serious problem that PDP need to solve. If not, they will keep on, reducing in terms of quality and representation.
Well, away from that, let's look at another controversial report making the rounds this morning: the position of budget and the reply from the National Assembly over an alleged insertion of over 11,000 projects worth 6.9 trillion naira into the 2025 budget. Well, these are some of the issues controversially discussed each year when it comes to our national appropriation bill and the budget for financial expenses by government. I don't know if you've stumbled on the budget report and care to make any comments in that regard.
Right. So let's first and foremost commend the budgets for their continuous research on our budget, because anything that if Nigeria wants to be a good country, it will be from budgets, because it's budgets that lead to implementation. But if budget has been skewed in a form that it will not actually achieve its aim, it's a problem. But like I tell you, budget padding and budget rigging, would I say now, start from conception, and that's what budget is trying to expose. That even right from the insertion of the project, there is a problem already, and that's a good one. That simply means that the headship of the National Assembly need to do more to make sure they are more thorough and they are more sincere in that regard, because you know that every senator will want to get project to his constituency. Maybe perhaps that's what budget is looking at, that you don't actually influence those things. You have to put it at the right place. But I want to say that in as much as they have rights to also respond, let them also come out clean in this case that budget has actually raised.
Another angle which is more concerning to me is on the life cycle of our budgets. The January-December life cycle seems not to be working. The 2024 budget had its lifespan extended by a month, and we're yet to even begin the implementation of the 2025 budget owing to shortfalls in our projected oil revenue and global headwinds. How do we adjudge this position to keeping with the January-December cycle of our budgets?
It's so saddening, and the day that started, I felt so bad that President Muhammadu Buhari was able to maintain that cycle, but it appeared that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't see it as a serious thing to look into, and that is affecting implementation, and it's making another thing to spill over. And when you have a spillover, it will affect the implementation of that budget. So I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should make sure that the upcoming budget of 2026 should not exceed the appropriate budget cycle, and the one that flow into 2025, they should make sure they also implement, because this will keep on pushing implementation, and it's going to have a negative effect on Nigerians.
Well, I must thank you, Doctor, for taking out time to join us to share your thoughts and reactions to this news stories making the round. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you so much.